we're going to work on a refresher of our exercise called walking, but it's breaking down that pattern and focusing into our beautiful pelvic control as we do so. So in our good standing position, we're going to start by coming up onto the toes. When we come up onto the toes, we're trying to make sure we're not rolling to the outside of the feet. We're focusing on that propulsion through the first and second toes. So trying to come straight up rather than forwards. So we're rising up through that first and second toe. From there, keeping the pelvis nice and level, centre engaged. We're going to allow one knee to bend and the other heel to soften down. Coming back up onto the toes and changing over. So it seems like a really simple movement, but if we're trying to minimise our pelvic movement, we've got to think about the legs going forwards and backwards, and we're not getting a side to side movement with lots of hip swagger, because again you can see the implications of that when you're walking and what's happening with the load through the legs if we're not controlling around the pelvis. So the central control is really important for our leg placement. So you can visualise yourself standing between two parallel bars, coming up and gently controlling. And this is why we do it perfectly quite slowly, so that you can think about that control. You might need a little bit more recruitment of the tummy muscles to stabilise. You might need a little bit more recruitment around the buttocks. So thinking again about our clam exercise and that recruitment deep into the buttocks to help that control. And again, with not incredible amounts of practice, you can see a really big difference to this. You can practice in front of the mirror too, and that can make it much easier to get that feedback. And then we can add in some just gentle arm movements. As long as that doesn't cause any change to our pelvic movement, because obviously when we walk, we use opposite arm and opposite leg. So a great exercise to practice. You don't need masses of equipment and incredibly functional.